From the Mumbai studios of Republic TV, it's time for Arnab Goswami on The Debate.
Ladies and gentlemen, the dust has just about settled in the battle for the Maharashtra government. But another battle is on, the face-off for the Shiv Sena legacy. Now Uddhav says he heads the real Shiv Sena. Eknath claims he is the real Shiv Sainik. So who will emerge roaring on top with a bow and arrow in hand? That's the debate, and here's the story.
Eknath Shinde has taken over as chief minister and met his MLAs.
3 और 4 को अधिवेशन बुलाया है गवर्नर साहब ने और उसमें जो भी प्रक्रिया है स्पीकर की और ट्रस्ट वोट की वो पूरी की जाएगी। हमारे पास 120 और 50 170 विधायक हैं और उसमें बढ़ोतरी हो रही है। मेजोरिटी का कोई सवाल उठता नहीं।
Devendra Fadnavis is back in action as deputy chief minister.
हमारी सरकार के समय आरए में जो जगह सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्लियर की थी उस जगह पर 25% काम हो चुका है और बचा हुआ 75% काम वहां पर तुरंत किया जा सकता है। इसलिए मुंबई करों के हित में तुरंत अगर मेट्रो शुरू करनी है तो कार शेड वही बनना चाहिए और इसलिए हमारा यही फैसला रहेगा कि कार शेड वही बने।
The BJP has emphasized that the glue binding the alliance together is Hindutva.
हिंदुत्व हमारा श्वास है, उसके बिना हम जी नहीं सकते। हिंदुत्व ये हमारा पॉलिटिकल एजेंडा नहीं है, कुछ लोगों का है, कभी हिंदुत्व नहीं।
And a jilted Uddhav Thackeray is saying this.
पुन्हा एकदा शिवसैनिकांमध्ये संभ्रम निर्माण करण्यासाठी शिवसेनेचा मुख्यमंत्री हा तसा शिवसेनेचा मुख्यमंत्री नाही, कारण शिवसेनेला बाजूला ठेवून शिवसेनेचा मुख्यमंत्री होऊ शकत नाही। हा एक पहिला महत्त्वाचा मुद्दा आहे।
And even within the Uddhav camp, they talk about how Milind Narvekar wanted to get an MLC ticket, but didn't. And there is a possibility with Uddhav Thackeray quitting as an MLC, he could be eyeing that empty spot.
The Uddhav camp is lashing out at Eknath Shinde.
जनता शिकवणार, आम्ही नाही शिकवणार। आम्ही आमच्या पद्धतीने करू, पण जनता त्यांना धडा दाखवून आतापर्यंत शिवसेनेतून फुटून गेलेली जी अवस्था काय झाली तुम्ही ऑब्झर्व करा।
With Uddhav Thackeray losing first the chief ministership of Maharashtra and then more or less control over Shiv Sena, the Uddhav faction once again tried to approach the court by saying that wait till the 11th. That is when the apex court had given time and trying to delay first the election of speaker and then the vote of confidence. But that is something the court is not going to entertain. That's what we are being told. And simultaneously, also we are being told that the Uddhav faction can once again approach the court on Monday morning.
Now the new alliance is chalking out who will be the next speaker.
विधानसभा में हमें उम्मीद है कि जो हमारे पास से निकल के गए हैं शिवसेना के सारे विधायक, वो डिस्क्वालिफिकेशन से बचने के लिए फिर एक बार हमारे उम्मीदवार को समर्थन उनको देना पड़ेगा।
But the real battle is to be fought outside of the Maharashtra assembly, and that is over the Shiv Sena symbol of bow and arrow. Would there be two factions of Sena with different symbols? Would the two sides fight it out before the election commission or the courts? Or would there be a compromise? The battle is about the true legacy of Bala Saheb Thackeray. Let's debate.
GVL Narasimha Rao, Sohail Seth, Xavier Rodriguez, Tarun Rathi, political analyst Kapil Madan, Intikhab Farooqi of the Shiv Sena, George Kurian and Santosh Pendurkar of the NCP. You see, Mr. Farooqi, can you hear me? Mr. Farooqi?
Yes.
There is nothing left. There is nothing left in the Uddhav faction now. That's my view. There's nothing left. There is nothing left, and I think you know, Mr. Thackeray, as Uddhav Thackeray has always said, he's not interested in politics. So
I think he should just get out of this power struggle with Eknath Shinde. Accept the reality. There is nothing left. Even there was a report today. Even his personal assistant has now moved to the Eknath Shinde camp. So I think it doesn't look good, when you continue to fight to retain political power when even the party has moved away from you. Yeah. Nothing's left.
I would like to tell you that since we had a nice and healthy running government, now since it was already broken, all the MLAs and ministers were from the Shiv Sena. So now since we again want to overcome that, Mr. Uddhav Thackeray will take some support of the Honorable Supreme Court, and then again we will definitely come back, show our powers. We have a lot of MPs and MLAs still with us, and they will definitely come. We will try to show our power, and also there is some time we require to show our MLAs, the numbers of the MLAs.
No, but anyway, I'd like GVL Narasimha Rao in this. How do you look at it now that you are partners with Eknath Shinde? Are you partners with Eknath Shinde? Are you partners with the Shiv Sena?
Now I think to anyone who understands elementary politics, you would know that the legislature party of Shiv Sena is today led by Eknath Shinde. So anyone who leads the legislature party of a party is the leader of the party in government. So obviously Mr. Eknath Shinde is the leader of the Shiv Sena today. Technically, the political party Shiv Sena may be led by Mr. Uddhav Thackeray, but this is also something that will come up for a challenge in course of time. The first priority for the government is to prove its majority on the floor of the House on the 4th of July, and this will be this test will be passed without a doubt.
I have a programming announcement. I've just been told that Eknath Shinde has given his first interview to Shiv Sena, and we'll be playing that out. I'm getting the feed coming in right now. But frankly, I'd like to get Kapil and Sohail in on this. The hunger for power, Kapil, is a bad thing when you don't have the people with you. Eknath Shinde has proven it's not about power anymore. Right? Okay, we have the interview coming in. I think so. Okay, so I'm breaking in for the interview, viewers. It's ready. Let's play. First interview of Maharashtra Chief Minister Eknath Shinde. Hindi.
हमारे साथ इस वक्त जुड़े हैं महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथ शिंदे जी। सबसे पहले तो सवाल ये करना चाहूँगा कि चर्चे में ये चल रहा था कि आप डेप्यूटी सीएम बनेंगे, पर आखिरकार जो हुआ, आप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, आप महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री हैं। ये कहा जा रहा था, क्या आपने कोई ऐसी मांग की थी कि आप मुख्यमंत्री ही बनेंगे, इसी युति तभी बनेगी?
ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेताओं का मैं धन्यवाद अदा करना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि उनके पास विधायक ज़्यादा होने के बावजूद उन्होंने मुझे मुख्यमंत्री पद के लिए समर्थन दिया है। इससे साफ जाहिर होता है कि वो, कई लोग कहते थे कि भारतीय जनता पक्ष जो है सत्ता पाने के लिए विधायक को तोड़ने का काम करता है, लेकिन आज यहाँ पर देश में एक अच्छा मैसेज गया है कि उनके पास ज़्यादा विधायक होने के बावजूद उन्होंने मेरे जैसे शिवसेना प्रमुख बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के एक शिवसैनिक को मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में समर्थन दिया है, इसलिए कि राज्य का विकास हो, राज्य आगे बढ़े। ये आम जनता के दिल की बात जो है, उनके दिल में जो विकास चाहते हो वो पूरा हो जाए, और इसीलिए मैं आज आपके सामने मुख्यमंत्री की हैसियत से यहाँ बैठा हूँ। इसलिए मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठों को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ।
जब उद्धव ठाकरे अब संबोधित करते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि ये पहले ही, चुनाव से पहले ही ये बात हो चुकी थी कि मुख्यमंत्री शिवसेना से बनेगी, बट अमित शाह के साथ ये बात बनी नहीं। अगर वो आज यही करना था तो पहले क्यों नहीं किया? उद्धव ठाकरे का ये कहना है, आप क्या कहेंगे उस पर?
हम लोगों ने किधर गलत कदम उठाया है? जो नेचुरल अलायंस है शिवसेना भारतीय जनता पार्टी थी, आज भी हम लोग शिवसेना के विधायक हैं, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के विधायक हैं और आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ अलायंस में हम लोग काम करेंगे। उप मुख्यमंत्री जो डीसीएम जो है देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस साहब हैं, उनको बहुत ही 5 साल मुख्यमंत्री रह चुके हैं, उनको अनुभव है। एक अच्छी सरकार, स्थिर सरकार, मजबूत सरकार, 170 के ज़्यादा विधायक वाली सरकार ये राज्य का विकास करेगी।
एक सवाल अलीशा भी लेना चाहिए।
मुख्यमंत्री जी, जहाँ तक आप आइडियोलॉजी, आप हिंदुत्व आइडियोलॉजी को लेकर आप आगे बढ़ रहे थे, कई सवाल इस पर भी उठ रहे हैं कि अचानक 2.5 साल बाद क्यों आप विधायकों के साथ पहले सूरत गए, फिर गुवाहाटी गए। इससे पहले जो 2.5 साल के बाद ये सवाल 2.5 साल पर पहले हमेशा से उठे हैं, तो ये तो कहा जा रहा है कि आप पिछले 1-1.5 साल से ही इस पर प्लानिंग कर रहे थे, सिर्फ इंतज़ार था आपको एमएलसी इलेक्शंस का।
ऐसी बात नहीं है। हम लोगों ने पूरी कोशिश की, जो विधायक हैं 50 उन्होंने भी कोशिश की, क्योंकि उनका अस्तित्व खतरे में पड़ चुका था। जो हमारे अलायंस पार्टनर है उनकी तरफ से उनके चुनाव क्षेत्र में बहुत ही अन्याय हो रहा था, उसकी सुनवाई हो, उसमें करेक्शन हो, ऐसी कोशिश उन्होंने भी की, मैंने भी की, लेकिन उसमें हम सफल नहीं हो पाए, इसलिए कदम उठाना पड़ा। ये आज की बात नहीं है। ये अगर चुनाव क्षेत्र में विधायक जो है उसके चुनाव क्षेत्र में विकास के काम हो, जो लोग विकास चाहते हैं उनको न्याय मिले, यही कोशिश विधायक की होती है। लेकिन उसमें अगर वो असफल होता है तो उसका अस्तित्व ही खतरे में पड़ जाता है। और ये 50 विधायक ऐसी स्टेप, ऐसी भूमिका क्यों लेते हैं, इसका कारण ढूंढना चाहिए, आत्म परीक्षण करने की आवश्यकता है।
शिंदे साहब, एक बहुत गंभीर बात यह है महाविकास अघाड़ी को लेकर कि जब उद्धव ठाकरे मुख्यमंत्री थे, कई सारे ऐसे चीज़ हिंदुत्व को लेकर, आज चंद्रकांत दादा पाटिल भी ये सवाल उठाते हैं कि पालघर में जो हुआ था उसमें जिस तरह से उस समय के मुख्यमंत्री उन्होंने कुछ नहीं किया, हिंदुत्व को उन्होंने महत्व नहीं दिया। उसके बाद कई सारे ऐसे इश्यूज हुए कि गलत तरीके से लोगों को अरेस्ट कराना, और आपके ही साथ जो एमएलएज है उन्होंने सीधे तौर पे जो आरोप लगाया कि दाऊद के साथ जो लिंक्स रह चुके हैं। तो आप उस समय मंत्रिमंडल में थे, कभी आपने ये सवाल उठाया कि कहीं ना कहीं जो गलत हो रहा था, महाविकास अघाड़ी जो चीज़ें गलत कर रहे थे, क्या उस समय आपने कुछ इसको लेकर बात की? क्या आपको उस समय लगा कि बहुत गलत हो रहा है?
मुख्यमंत्री खुद उद्धव ठाकरे साहब थे और ऐसे समय में शिवसेना के मुख्यमंत्री, ऐसे समय में लोगों की एक अपेक्षा थी, भावना थी कि जो दाऊद मुंबई बॉम्ब स्फोट कराता है, कई लोग उसमें मारे जाते हैं, उसका जो उसके साथ जिसका कनेक्शन है उसको समर्थन देने की आवश्यकता नहीं, ऐसे भावना अपेक्षा सभी लोगों की थी। लेकिन अलायंस में होने की वजह से कुछ इच्छा होने के बावजूद भी ये सब नहीं कर पा रहे थे। ये भी गुस्सा था, फंड का गुस्सा था, जो चुनाव क्षेत्र के काम है विकास के, वो विषय था। ये सभी विषय जो है,
राम जन्मभूमि को लेकर,
राम जन्मभूमि, वहाँ राम मंदिर बन रहा है, अच्छी बात है, सभी लोगों ने स्वागत करना चाहिए।
ये कहा जा रहा था कि कुछ लोग, आप लोग भी जाना चाह रहे थे पर आप लोग को भेजा नहीं जा रहा था, ये
उन्होंने रोक दिया, उनको भी रोक दिया।
कहीं उस समय मन में खटास कि क्यों जो पार्टी उस समय जाना जाती थी हिंदुत्व को लेकर, बाला साहब ठाकरे हिंदुत्व की बात करते थे। पालघर वाले मामले में हमने भी, रिपब्लिक ने कई सारे सवाल उठाए कि आखिरकार क्यों वो साधुओं के साथ जस्टिस क्यों नहीं हुआ। आज जब आप ये चीज़ देखते हैं, आंखों के सामने देखते हैं, कि आप वो मौका आपको मिल रहा है कि जो गलतियां महाविकास अघाड़ी ने किया वो गलतियां को आप सुधार सकते हैं।
गलतियां सुधारने के लिए हम लोगों ने भी कोशिश की, लेकिन उसमें सफल नहीं हुए हम। लेकिन अब ऐसी गलतियां हमारे सरकार में नहीं होगी।
आपने जैसे ही पद संभाला मुख्यमंत्री का, उसके बाद आपने जितने भी जो पेंडिंग प्रपोजल्स थे उसको फाइल्स आपने ओपन करते हुए देखा। किन किन प्रपोजल्स पर आपका सबसे अहम मुद्दा रहेगा? क्योंकि आर्य कॉलोनी को लेकर आज ही मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे, जो पूर्व मुख्यमंत्री उद्धव ठाकरे ने एक अपील की थी, एक इमोशनल अपील की थी कि भले मेरे साथ बदला निकाल लो पर मुंबई करो के साथ बदला ना निकाले।
ऐसा कोई बदले की भावना लेकर सरकार काम नहीं करेगी। जो भी प्रोजेक्ट है, जो प्रलंबित है, उसे निर्धारित समय में पूरा करने का काम सरकार करेगा और जो जनता के हित में, राज्य के हित में होगा वही सरकार करेगा।
मैं जानता हूं कि आपके पास ज़्यादा टाइम नहीं है, बट एक खाली और सवाल खाली करना चाहूँगा क्योंकि लोग जानना चाहेंगे, आज देश में रिपब्लिक भारत के द्वारा लोग जानना चाहेंगे कि एकनाथ शिंदे जी जो चिन्ह को लेके बात हो रही, शिवसेना की चिन्ह को लेके बात हो रही है, आप लगातार ट्वीट भी कर रहे हैं कि रियल शिवसेना आखिरकार आप है। इलेक्शन कमीशन पे जाने की बात या आने वाले दिनों में रणनीति क्या रहेगी शिवसेना के चिन्ह को इस्तेमाल करने की?
मैं आज भी कहता हूँ, हम लोग बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के शिव सैनिक हैं और शिवसेना के विधायक है। बाकी मैं कुछ जानता नहीं और समय आने पर निश्चित रूप से कई बातें स्पष्ट हो जाएगी। ऐसी कोई हमारी कोशिश नहीं है कि शिवसेना पार्टी को ठेस पहुंचाना, उद्धव ठाकरे साहब को ठेस पहुंचाना, ऐसे कुछ भी कोशिश हमारी नहीं। लेकिन हम शिवसेना के विधायक हैं। शिवसेना, हमने कोई पार्टी छोड़ी नहीं, हमने कोई पार्टी नहीं बनाई नहीं। हम नेचुरल अलायंस पार्टनर के साथ हम ये सरकार चलाएंगे।
और क्या आप जो उद्धव ठाकरे के साथ अभी भी कुछ एमएलएज हैं, उनको कुछ आप कहना चाहेंगे कि आखिरकार आप इस समय कमान संभाल रहे हैं, क्या आप उनको ये कहना चाहेंगे? क्योंकि कुछ लोग ये भी कह रहे हैं कि मिलिंद नार्वेकर आपसे बात कर रहे हैं, हमारे पास जो खबर आई थी कि आप लोग की बातचीत हो रही, तो कई ऐसे लोग हैं जो अभी भी उनके कैंप में वो आपसे जुड़ना चाहते हैं, उनको क्या कहेंगे?
हमारी जो भूमिका है एक आइडियोलॉजी वाली, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के विचार वाली, जो जिसको पसंद है वो स्वीकार करेगा।
नंबर्स की अगर बात करें, आप इस समय सपोर्ट की कितना देख रहे हैं? सोमवार की
नंबर तो हमारे पास 50 है, भारतीय जनता पार्टी के पास 120 है और आगे भी बहुत से लोग आ रहे हैं। 170-75 वाली सरकार, इतनी मजबूत सरकार कहाँ मिलेगी?
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Okay, that's the first big scoop that Shravan and Alisha had with Eknath Shinde. Quick observations I have before I take this back to the discussion, and they'll be joining us again. That it seems to me that when you listen to him, he sounds like a very cool customer. He knows what he's talking about. There's a lot of tehrav in his approach and in his tone. Very clearly, without trying to offend anyone, he has made it clear, Sohail, that he is not compromising on this whole aspect of the symbol. There is no question of an alternative symbol or alternative party. He says, I am the Shiv Sena effectively. He says, I don't want to hurt anyone, but I am the Shiv Sena. That's a massive point. Second, for all those people who are putting out these stories about Devendra Fadnavis, why he became Deputy Chief Minister, there was a lot of respect that Mr. Shinde showed towards Devendra Fadnavis, and he said the DCM has a tremendous amount of experience in running the state, indicating that he's going to be leaning a lot on Devendra Fadnavis. So that issue also completely settled. And he said, when we asked him about Palghar, he said those mistakes will not be repeated. Your impressions, Sohail, when you listen to him, your impressions.
Now, so let's start at the beginning. Number one, what Eknath Shinde is doing is he is correcting a wrong that was committed when the BJP Shiv Sena pre-poll alliance was not honored post the elections. So that's a corrective measure. Number one. Number two, leadership is about two things. It's about courage and conviction. If you saw on day one, when Uddhav, talked about this so-called revolt and betrayal, he sounded weak. He didn't sound like a leader. He sounded like someone who had already thrown in the towel. Eknath Shinde, as you rightly said, is coming across as someone who's firm, but still gentle and genteel, recognizes the fact that the BJP placed him where he is. So he has a sense of gratitude, not a sense of entitlement. Number three, you mentioned Devendra Fadnavis. I mean, even Sonia Gandhi looked good when she sacrificed the post for Manmohan Singh. What you're seeing today is a total articulation of craftsmanship where the people are being placed at the center. You remember, Arnab, everyone in the last 10, 12 days was worried about the violence that would be unleashed on the streets.
Yeah.
It hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So, what do the cadres feel? The cadres are ideology driven. They're not just surname driven. So two myths have been bust. Number one, that the Thakres do not own the Shiv Sena anymore. what Shiv Sena was Balasab's Shiv Sena, because Balasab believed in an ideology from which he didn't waver.
Yep.
These people wavered. Now for Uddhav to say that the BJP had actually struck the same deal, so why did they do this with Eknath Shinde, is complaining a bit too late and a bit too much. So here's my assessment. Brilliant master strokes by the BJP and the Shiv Sena. They've put the people of Maharashtra right at the center. It's not about family, it's more about sacrifice and doing stuff for the people. Fadnavis will marry a great amount of experience with Eknath Shinde's extreme belief in the Hindutva philosophy to which Shiv Sena has always ascribed. And to my mind, it's a win-win. Who are the losers?
Yeah.
Uddhav Thackeray's worry is not about losing the post of the chief minister. It's also about the worry of losing the party. Today, what Eknath Shinde has done is he's grabbed both the chief minister's position and the party. Both will hurt and hurt grievously.
Absolutely.
Today, you will see a new Shiv Sena without the surname. It'll still be Shiv Sena without the Thackeray's.
And absolutely, I want to bring in and congratulate Shravan and Alisha for that great exclusive. I think the whole country was waiting to see who'd get the first exclusive, and that's a big one. That's a big one, truly. As reporters, nothing would make you more delighted. What came across to me, and before I hand it to you, Shravan and Alisha, I want to ask one question to George Kurian, and this is my observation. The difference between the Eknath Shinde approach and the Uddhav Thackeray and Sanjay Raut approach, George Kurian, is the fact that there is no acrimony in Eknath Shinde's voice. There is complete sense of purpose, a very calm decision making. He is going to take the party. He has taken the legislature party. He is going to be holding the symbol. He is going to be handling the government. He knows how to manage senior colleagues, and he knows how to run a coalition, and he has tremendous regard for Fadnavis. This is the difference. You compare Eknath Shinde's tone of voice and maturity with Uddhav Thackeray's emotional kind of Facebook approach. What would a Shiv Sainik choose, George? I don't think any Shiv Sainik will go with the Uddhav approach. What do you think?
I personally feel the Uddhav Thackeray approach was much better, and he's confident. It's not that he's trying to gain any kind of sympathy here, but the cadre, they are wholly with Uddhav Thackeray, Shiv Sena, and the question about the symbol is a legal battle, which only time will reveal.
No. My question was that when you, my question is, as a Shiv Sainik, you are listening to two people. One is a very cool, calm, composed, methodical winner. And the other person is a very nervous, insecure, political loser. Which one would a Shiv Sainik choose ahead of the BMC elections? That's the question. Savio, I don't think I could make myself understood. Yes, Savio.
You see, Arnab, Eknath Shinde has been very inspiring. It is this inspiration that has allowed for 39 of the Shiv Sena MLAs to move from the Thackeray's to with Eknath Shinde. Now, Uddhav Thackeray has never inspired the Shiv Sainiks. Uddhav Thackeray is a product of nepotism. His father was inspirational, and therefore Uddhav thought that because my father was inspirational, I will also be a part of that inspirational brigade. But unfortunately for Uddhav Thackeray, he was not inspiring enough. That's why he could not hold his flock together. Now, at a time when the Maharashtra government is in power with the NCP and the Congress and Uddhav Thackeray's power in Maharashtra, yet they could not break the 39 MLAs.
Yeah.
What does it show? That the rest of the 38 MLAs have complete confidence in Eknath Shinde. Because Eknath Shinde is a man from the ground.
Yeah.
He was one of Balasaheb Thackeray's most trusted man.
Yeah.
He is not somebody who's an aristocrat and a nepotism person.
Yeah, I think I was speaking to someone today, and I think what comes across here is the BJP's commitment to rule out political and destroy political dynasties. That was the comment that was made. I want Shravan and Alisha to come in right now. So tell me about what you made of what he said out there. What were the main news points in your view? Shravan and Alisha.
Well, in fact, Audab, this is the part that's not captured in the interview, because we had barely about a few seconds, because he was on his way out. He was going to go up. So we had a chance to just have a word with him. It's, you know, he was basically surrounded by people from his Shakha. And contrast that with Uddhav Thackeray, surrounded by unelectables. People who have never gone to the constituencies,
that is the point.
who've never interacted with the people. But if you look at the image, of today, the residents here, the urban development minister, he was actually the urban development minister, he's still in that bungalow. The moment we entered, you had a sea of people, and all are people from Thane who have worked with him for a very long period, and that's why they say he was a street fighter, someone who knows how to win elections, someone who has the hunger to win elections and do it for the people. That is exactly what Shiv Sainiks were basically known for. The Shakhas were basically known for the people they could approach. And today it seems he's far more approachable. Even for journalists right now, it took us about a couple of minutes to try and convince him, but he allowed us to enter, speak to his people, and then he said, now you do the interview with us, with, of course, not starting. Generally, a lot of these politicians would have said, I'm not going to answer this. And I feel when he answered the question on Palghar Sadhus, I think so it was extremely, he was determined to answer that, and he was very clear. He was very clear, and he was very, I would say that he did not mince his words. What many Shiv Sainiks actually went through at that point in time, the inaction that was shown by the Mumbai police, today he's basically echoed that very sentiment. I'll just hand it over to Alisha also for her comment.
Yes, Alisha.
Well, yes, Shravan, because important point out that has been made by Chief Minister, clearly stating there were many of the MLAs who wanted to convey the message to Chief Minister, the ex-Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray, and they have tried many of the time. They were even, while talking about this Palghar Sadhu, there were many of the Shiv Sena MLAs now who is with Eknath Shinde. They wanted to convey, saying that there should be a strict action, but they wasn't listening. They were trying hard that their problem should be solved, but yes, they were ignored, is what clearly has been stated by Eknath Shinde in the interview. So that is the reason why Eknath Shinde and the other MLAs had took this decision. They took this decision, and they are like now talking about the people of Maharashtra. They are not worried about it. They are saying this is what the mandate. This was the people of Maharashtra gave mandate to Shiv Sena and BJP, and that is what we are taking to. This is a legacy of Babasaheb Thackeray, and we wanted to continue this Hindutva ideology, and this has to be respect. And this is what the Maharashtra people wants.
Yes, Alisha and Shravan, taking off on that point, going back to the debate right now, Madhu Kishwar joining in. Madhu, and I have Kapil Madan here with me. Kapil, are you there? Can't see him on screen.
Yes.
Yeah, you're there. Okay. So Kapil, the point being what Shravan said earlier. You destroyed Uddhav Thackeray. The Congress party has this, it's like the kiss of death. Anybody who does any business with the Congress party is not eroded, it's finished. Yes, it cannot be a coincidence. And today, who is Uddhav left with? Shravan said Uddhav is left with a coterie of unelectables. Totally true. Sanjay Raut, can he win? Can Sanjay Raut win a corporator election? No, 1 minute. He is accused of multi-crore money laundering in the Patra Chawl development. He was making threats. Has Anil Desai contested an election? Can Aditya Thackeray have any mass support? Question being, see, what you have done to your party is unfortunate. You are left with a party of ex-Rajya Sabha MPs fighting with each other. 10 candidates for every Rajya Sabha seat you have left. But you have done the same thing to the... What is sad is that you have done that. You have left the Shiv Sena in such a position today. Especially after there's nobody left with Uddhav Thackeray of any mass support. Yes, please. Why did you do this? Was it part of your plan?
Arnab, if I may just jog your memory a bit, we saw what happened in Karnataka. We saw how the government was toppled in Madhya Pradesh, and we are now seeing how the government is being toppled by in Maharashtra. And not to forget, what is the role played by the central agencies like ED, CBI, where there are allegations against the minister in Karnataka, 40% allegation of commission. I know it is getting uncomfortable for you. I know, please allow me to make my point. Allow.
The point is that he has said, Shinde has said that Dawood bombed Mumbai, and people associated with Dawood were in your ministry. These are some of the harsh truths that he has shared. My point is, why did you bring the Shiv Sena down to this position? Yeah, why did you?
Now, it is very easy for any central agency to make any kind of wild insinuation, allegation against anyone, especially when the man has single-handedly exposed the one of the central agencies like narcotics bureau, which filed completely bogus case, and there were also allegations the person who was heading the narcotics bureau.
I'm saying that.
No, I am answering your question.
I'm saying that.
I'm answering you were constrained. Let me respond, Arnab. I will answer each and every allegation of yours. I will answer each and every.
I'm not making even an allegation. You're overreacting. I'm just making a point.
No, I am not.
My point is that today the similarity. Allow me 1 minute. I'll make my point very simply so you understand. That today the situation of the Shiv Sena and the Vadra Congress is very similar in that they have no mass leaders left. And what Rahul Gandhi took 15 years to do to the Congress, Uddhav Thackeray has done in 2.5 years to the Shiv Sena. That's all. GVL is responding. Sohail wants to come in. Madhu Kishwar hasn't spoken yet. GVL.
Let me tell you, Arnab.
What happened in Maharashtra, I think, had this not happened, I think Shiv Sena would have become extinct.
Hang on. GV, hang on.
Can I get
Okay. Sohail, let GVL complete. I'm coming to you right after that. Yeah, thank you.
I'll take 30 seconds. I know, you see, what has happened in this episode is actually an attempt to redeem and also to ensure survival of Shiv Sena. Had this not happened, I think Shiv Sena would have become completely extinct by next elections. A party which stood by an ideology has done exact opposite of that by tying up with the Congress party. It's like Shiv Sena hugging the higher side.
I would like to.
What if Shiv Sena becomes?
I want to come in.
What if Shiv Sena becomes the spokesperson for the higher side? What they did in Maharashtra is somewhat similar to that.
They are in position.
Okay. Sohail's coming in. Sohail's coming in. Sohail and Madhu, yeah.
Very quickly and very briefly on what Kapil said. Kapil is absolutely right. Central agencies have been used, perhaps, blah, blah, blah.
Kapil and Renu.
I ask you 3 quick questions. Number 1, for 2.5 years, the Thackeray's were running the government. Uddhav Thackeray was running the government and the party. Did you not know that you had dissatisfied people within the Sena who broke rank? Were you not aware? That means you didn't have any intelligence. I mean, what I meant was, active intelligence, or you didn't know where the aspirations were. Number 2, when they left, in the first few days, Sanjay Raut behaved in an arrogant manner, from threatening their families to threatening them to saying, "Tumhare baap ki party nahi hai, it is Bala Saheb's party." So you push them further away. Number 3, when they did come back, there was no grace. Look, no one's point here, Kapil, is that what happened was in the natural course of democratic principles. But the fact is, ultimately, Eknath Shinde has followed the philosophy that Bala Saheb believed in, which he believes and his 39 people believed that Uddhav had strayed away from, which there is no doubt about. And the most important thing, Kapil, that you haven't answered or perhaps addressed is, my friend, there was a pre-poll alliance. The battle for Maharashtra was won on the twin pillars of Bala Saheb Thackeray and Narendra Damodar Das Modi. When the results were out, you ditched Modi, and then you said, we will form an alliance with a party, the Congress, which Arnab Goswami has named, which Bala Saheb said, over my dead body. So you betrayed Bala Saheb, you betrayed the philosophy, you betrayed the ideology, and most importantly, you betrayed a pre-poll promise. Now you tell me, betrayal begets betrayal. Are you surprised?
Yeah, absolutely. Nobody is.
So let me respond. Now, allow me to respond to Sohail. Now, the one thing is clear. Sohail, your argument is that they went ahead because perhaps they were disrespected or their ambitions were not taken in consideration by Shiv Sena, and therefore they have switched side. Another gentleman here, he mentioned that Shiv Sena will be destroyed. Now, what does that show? If you really want to destroy the Shiv Sena and you are switching side, are you really following Bala Saheb Thackeray's legacy? No, you're not. You have switched side because perhaps,
okay, get rid of the, okay, Kapil, get rid of the bitterness. Get rid of the bitterness.
But Kapil, neither was Uddhav following Bala Saheb's philosophy, my friend. Neither was Uddhav following Bala Saheb's philosophy.
I'll tell you one thing, Kapil, on an aside, there is a big lesson in this. There is a big lesson in this. There's a big lesson in this also. And what is the lesson, in my view? That trying to think that just because you are left with one last Lutyens bungalow in 24 Akbar Road, where you bring 20 people every week for a workshop, if that is the way to do politics in India, then you're completely mistaken. Now, what I want you to do, what I want you to do, oh, come on, don't give me broken records. What I want you to do,
Now tell me, what is your personal view on Pegasus? Now tell me something, is it not used as an instrument of, oppression against the opposition?
Where do you
what are you saying?
Do you expect Narendra Modi to go to Crawford Market and look for an opposition?
Arnav, एक important point. You keep on referring to Lutyens lobby. ये जो बीजेपी के MPs रहते हैं क्या गाजीपुर मंडी के पास रहते हैं क्या? ये भी तो सारे Lutyens में ही रहते हैं. ये भी तो सारे Lutyens में ही रहते हैं.
What I'm saying is, listen here. Just wait a minute. I want Madhu Kishwar to come in on it. She's quite an expert on the subject, and Renu is dying to come into the debate as well. I just say one thing. Today, you have to admire. You have to, point I'm making, Madhu, is one has to look at the screen and see a person called Eknath Shinde. Okay? He's younger to Uddhav. I think he's in his late 50s. He's younger to Uddhav, but more importantly, he's a man who's risen, from very humble origins. And when I think some Shiv Sena leaders started saying, like Aditya Thackeray started saying recently, we made auto rickshaw drivers as leaders, very, very patronizing. For that fight, for that struggle in life to rise from nowhere to where he is not something that perhaps Aditya Thackeray has experienced or will ever experience. But one cannot disregard the personality of Eknath Shinde, and one cannot, जो ये कहते हैं ना जमीन से जुड़े हुए इंसान, जो इंटरव्यू आप देखें तो ये क्लियर हो जाता है कि जमीन से जुड़े हुए इंसान है. It's no high flying talk, very practical. He wanted to take away the party, he has. That's it. It's that simple. And he's saying, I'm going to take away the party, essentially. So I don't think the Vadra Congress knows how to deal with it, but I wish, Madhu, that they had stopped trying to tutor the Shiv Sena. The last thing a failing student needs is a terrible tutor. Madhu.
Firstly, Arnav, let me congratulate you, because it gives me great pleasure that the political mafia that hounded you and tried to decimate Republic TV has fallen beyond recovery. You helped expose their evil deeds at great cost, and you showed their true colors. And I think that has played a big role in their downfalls. Secondly, my point is that the days of family-controlled parties is finally over. Look at the fate of the Congress party, decline in Shiv Sena, PDP, Lalu party, Samajwadi party, all of them are getting decimated, and rightfully so. Uddhav Thackeray and his imbecile son, this Rais Zada, with a very decadent lifestyle, with shady things happening in his life, they certainly don't have the most basic qualities that are required to be a leader. And Shinde, by contrast, not only has he risen through sheer hard work and determination, but most importantly, he may actually turn out to be a better team builder than even Balasaheb Thackeray, because he is a team player. Look at the calm composure with which he carried himself and carried majority of the MLAs with him, and they are not running away. He's not as though holding a gun to them. It's clear that he is actually given Shiv Sena not only a new lease of life, but perhaps a better lease of life. Because Balasaheb was always dynasty oriented.
Very good.
But I don't think Shinde is likely to go that way. And I like his transparency, his clarity and focus and accountability. The ease with which he answers difficult questions, including on Palgar Sadhus. For that alone, I will salute him.
I think that was very clear.
Look at his spokesman versus Sanjay Raut. Deepak Kelskar versus Sanjay Raut.
There's no comparison.
One guy is constantly baiting, the other person is calm and composed. And I agree with Madhu. People look for composure in their leaders. They don't look for rabble-rousers.
But you know, Sohail, on that, haven't you always seen, I have always seen this, and Renu will agree with me, that someone, and Tarun Rathi is also on the debate. Tarun, sorry to keep you waiting, just coming to you in a minute. Renu and Tarun, those who have risen from the ranks and struggled in life are always more composed than those who make an entry without proving themselves. You know, classic case being Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Vadra, completely not composed, prone to tantrums, anger, indecisiveness, a sense of entitlement. And Renu, I think this is the biggest aspect of the change of guard in Maharashtra has been the destruction of political dynasty here. I'm sure you'll agree with me on that.
I think, Arnab, what we are doing is, I think we are jumping the gun too fast. And I think that, you know, this is Mr. Shinde is totally dependent on the BJP. Now he's in a catch-22 situation. On the other one hand, the BJP wants to decimate the Shiv Sena, bring about fissures within the party so that the Thackeray family is sidelined, and then, you know, then they'll take care of Shinde and the rest. Here is 39 MLAs versus the BJP's 100 plus MLAs. So what is going to ultimately happen, that he is going to be kowtowing the BJP line from beginning to end.
There's no kowtowing. There's no kowtowing. They are wedded together by the political ideology of Hindutva.
Let me finish.
I think the fact is what I Renu, one small point. I'll take 10 seconds. Renu, I'll take 10 seconds. 10 seconds. 10 seconds. You take 1 minute. I'll take 10 seconds. Okay. Speak. Okay.
You take 10 seconds. I'll take 2 seconds. And on the other hand, we have Sharad Pawar, who is playing his own political games. He wanted problems within the Shiv Sena. He wanted to crack the party so that he could make his daughter the chief minister. So we have a situation where Mr. Shinde is going to be in a lot of hot water, maybe sooner rather than later. And I think we are jumping too many guns by immediately labeling the fact that, you know, here is a man who's going to do that. He's a man
Renuji was talking as if
so the point is that the BJP is a party which has been trying to bring down elected governments in state after state after state. And here they have done the same thing in Maharashtra. Now what they are looking for is an advantage. Why not make Mr. Fadnavis the chief minister? Because they want to crack up the Shiv Sena. They want to capture the political space in Maharashtra as far as the BJP is concerned. Sharad Pawar wants the same thing. Congress wants the same thing. So we have a situation where I think that
not only lacked the numbers,
will be really
he lacked the conviction. He lacked numbers and he lacked the conviction. He was also
conviction. BJP is not going to talk about conviction. I'm sorry. BJP's conviction lies only with remaining a party in power. Their only aim is to capture power whether through a ballot or the bullet or whatever.
Okay, one point.
Then you use EDA.
May I get Tarun Rathi also? Tarun, I think Renu's rattled and legit Renu and Kapil are all rattled. Real reason they're rattled is because Hindutva has been openly spoken about as the political glue between two parties, and I don't think many people are willing to accept that two parties are openly coming and saying the greatest thing that brings us together is our commitment to Hindutva. Tarun.
अर्णव जी, हमारा जो देश है उसकी जो सनातन सभ्यता है, हमारा जो हिंदू दर्शन है और जो आरएसएस के एक प्रचारक की प्रेरणा है, ये सब मिलके ही ये डिसीजन ले सकते हैं। और एकनाथ जी जो है वो 18 साल के शिव सैनिक बन गए थे। आज भी उनकी आप लगातार भावनाएं देख रहे हैं, वो आज भी एक एक शिव सैनिक के साथ कमिटेड है, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के साथ कमिटेड है। आपने कभी इतिहास में ऐसा सुना है कि रूलिंग पार्टी के एमएलए टूट जाए? मतलब सत्ता में है, सत्ता में होने के बाद एमएलए टूट रहे हैं। हमेशा ऐसा तो होता है भाई सत्ता नहीं मिल रही है, मलाई नहीं मिल रही है, सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट डिपार्टमेंट है उनके पास, उसके बाद भी वो और उनके सारे मंत्री और एमएलए टूट के आ गए। किस लिए? सिर्फ और सिर्फ हिंदुत्व के लिए, और जो इनकी दमनकारी नीति थी उसके लिए। उन्होंने किसको छोड़ा? किसी आम आदमी को नहीं छोड़ा,
पैसे
किसी फिल्म स्टार को नहीं छोड़ा, किसी अधिकारी को नहीं छोड़ा, आप जैसे पत्रकार को नहीं छोड़ा, किसको तक नहीं किया उन्होंने?
अवॉइड करने के लिए।
नहीं, एक मिनट यार, एक मिनट। कपिल, डोंट filibuster. BJP is a political party, my friend. As Renuji rightly said, BJP lacks conviction. The business of a political party is to win elections. It is not an NGO. Okay, neither is it a party that is spreading cultural, a renaissance. If they are winning elections, if they are winning and getting into power, what is your truck with them?
The problem.
Let me ask you a question.
Doesn't believe in winning elections.
Let me ask you a question.
The problem is, I like that point. Kapil, one interjection. One small interjection.
Insult the electorate.
No, listen.
Once you topple the electorate government on the strength of
Madhu and Swiss.
Kapil, I'm very fond of you, but today somehow logic has escaped you. Let me again revisit history. You're absolutely right. Is it a fact that the BJP and Shiv Sena entered into a pre-poll alliance in the last assembly elections? The answer is yes. When the results were announced, the BJP was the single largest party. Who dumped the BJP? The Shiv Sena. Who did Shiv Sena get into bed with? The Congress and the NCP. Now, as Rathi ji has said, if the BJP has a person in the form of Eknath Shinde wanting to course correct because he doesn't want to obliterate.
I'd like to get Madhu back.
I will respond.
I'd like to get Madhu back. I want Madhu to come in. I want Madhu to come in, Kapil, because she's spoken less. She came in later. I'm coming back to you. Just a minute. You see, Madhu, I liked Sohail's point. Sohail's point is that the political party is in the business of being in power. Political party is not a think tank or an NGO. Yeah. Now, problem in Congress is, recently a Congress leader told me, he said, what do I do? I said, why? He said, my only job is to make sure that our leader gets invited to some places abroad, some universities abroad. I said, why? He said, well, he seeks legitimacy. I said, how will he seek legitimacy? If you go to, one minute, allow me to complete. I'm on an interesting point. Then the leader said, Then the leader said, I asked the leader, why do you do it? He said, I'm not going to do it. He said, why? He said, then our leader goes to a LSE or a King's College or a Cambridge, and then before those audiences says India is not a nation. So he says, become an embarrassment for us now. So I agree with them. On the other hand, you have practical people in practical parties who have risen to the top with hard work. Now, whether that is Devendra Fadnavis, that is Eknath Shinde, that is Amit Shah, you need to understand, or Himanta Biswa Sharma, these are different kind of leaders. You can't deal with them. This is not the Karti Chidambaram model. And I think that was the point which he was making there. As a personal comment on Eknath Shinde, I want Madhu to take that forward, please. Yes, please, Madhu, on the element of dynasty and others.
Now, Shinde, on the other hand, battling against heavy odds in a party where the family alone mattered, and yet to create a space whereby all those people who were wedded to the party but could not take its deterioration lying down. See, the most important part about Shinde's performance is his acting as a team player and a team leader. He's not just hijacked these MLAs through means fair and foul. He has an agenda, and I think it is far better to listen to the BJP to be its alliance partner than Dawood Ibrahim's alliance partner.
Well, I think
because who were they listening
well,
to?
this is of course interesting, but a lot of our viewers are calling us and telling us to play at least some clips of that interview. So I will. One line, yes, sir. Yes,
yeah,
Mr.
you
Rao.
see, in one line sums up everything. If Bala Saheb Thackeray were to be alive today to choose a candidate to chief minister, he would have undoubtedly chosen Eknath Shinde.
मैं एक बार फिर तरुण राठी जी के पास भी जाऊंगा. आपने इंटरव्यू देखा, अगर आप एक या दो लाइन में आपके इंप्रेशन क्या थे इंटरव्यू सुनने के बाद? उन्होंने जो बात कही, अगर आपको सुनने का मौका मिला तो.
मैंने बिल्कुल सुना है और उन्होंने बहुत ही बढ़िया बात की है. वो एकदम डाउन टू अर्थ आदमी है और सारे शिव सैनिकों को वो साथ लेके चलेंगे. और मेरी बात आज याद रखना, ये बचे हुए सब लोग भी इनके साथ ही आने वाले हैं. बाद में आदित्य ठाकरे भी साथ में आएंगे, क्योंकि यही रियल शिवसेना है और यही जो बाला साहब ठाकरे की विचारधारा को आगे बढ़ा सकते हैं. और उद्धव जी तो आपको पता है फुल्ली डिसइंटरेस्टेड है पॉलिटिक्स में. जबरदस्ती उनको पॉलिटिक्स में रखा हुआ है.
ये भी बहुत बड़ी बात.
अगर वो पॉलिटिक्स में इंटरेस्टेड होते तो कभी ऐसा होता है कि रूलिंग पार्टी के एमएलए टूट के चले जाए.
ये तो असंभव वाली बात संभव कर दी उन्होंने.
और अभी भी जो लोग यहाँ भी डिबेट कर रहे हैं या जो लोग बाहर भी डिबेट कर रहे हैं उनको लेके, उनको ये समझ ही नहीं है कि उद्धव जी को पॉलिटिक्स में कोई इंटरेस्ट है ही नहीं.
I'll end with a 2-minute clip of that interview. Ladies and gentlemen, see you over the weekend. Goodbye.
हमारे साथ इस वक्त जुड़े हैं महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री एकनाथ शिंदे जी. सबसे पहले तो सवाल ये करना चाहूँगा कि चर्चे में ये चल रहा था कि आप डेप्यूटी सीएम बनेंगे, पर आखिरकार जो हुआ, आप मुख्यमंत्री हैं, आप महाराष्ट्र के मुख्यमंत्री हैं. ये कहा जा रहा था, क्या आपने कोई ऐसी मांग की थी कि आप मुख्यमंत्री ही बनेंगे, इसी युति तभी बनेगी?
ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठ नेताओं का मैं धन्यवाद अदा करना चाहता हूँ, क्योंकि उनके पास विधायक ज़्यादा होने के बावजूद उन्होंने मुझे मुख्यमंत्री पद के लिए समर्थन दिया है. इससे साफ जाहिर होता है कि वो, कई लोग कहते थे कि भारतीय जनता पक्ष जो है सत्ता पाने के लिए विधायक को तोड़ने का काम करता है, लेकिन आज यहाँ पर देश में एक अच्छा मैसेज गया है कि उनके पास ज़्यादा विधायक होने के बावजूद उन्होंने मेरे जैसे शिवसेना प्रमुख बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के एक शिवसैनिक को मुख्यमंत्री के रूप में समर्थन दिया है, इसलिए कि राज्य का विकास हो, राज्य आगे बढ़े. ये आम जनता के दिल की बात जो है, उनके दिल में जो विकास चाहते हो वो पूरा हो जाए. और इसीलिए मैं आज आपके सामने मुख्यमंत्री की हैसियत से यहाँ बैठा हूँ. इसलिए मैं भारतीय जनता पार्टी के वरिष्ठों को धन्यवाद देना चाहता हूँ.
जब उद्धव ठाकरे अब संबोधित करते हैं, वो कहते हैं कि ये पहले ही, चुनाव से पहले ही ये बात हो चुकी थी कि मुख्यमंत्री शिवसेना से बनेगी, बट अमित शाह के साथ ये बात बनी नहीं. अगर वो आज यही करना था तो पहले क्यों नहीं किया? उद्धव ठाकरे का ये कहना है, आप क्या कहेंगे उस पर?
हम लोगों ने किधर गलत कदम उठाया है? जो नेचुरल अलायंस है, शिवसेना भारतीय जनता पार्टी थी, आज भी हम लोग शिवसेना के विधायक हैं, बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के विधायक हैं, और आज भारतीय जनता पार्टी के साथ अलायंस में हम लोग काम करेंगे. उप मुख्यमंत्री जो डीसीएम जो है देवेंद्र जी फडणवीस साहब हैं, उनको बहुत ही 5 साल मुख्यमंत्री रह चुके हैं, उनको अनुभव है. एक अच्छी सरकार, स्थिर सरकार, मजबूत सरकार, 170 के ज़्यादा विधायक वाली सरकार, ये राज्य का विकास करेगी।
एक सवाल अलीशा भी लेना चाहूँ।
मुख्यमंत्री जी, जहाँ तक आप आइडियोलॉजी, आप हिंदुत्व आइडियोलॉजी को लेकर आप आगे बढ़ रहे थे, कई सवाल इस पर भी उठ रहे हैं कि अचानक 2.5 साल बाद क्यों आप विधायकों के साथ पहले सूरत गए, फिर गुवाहाटी गए। इससे पहले जो 2.5 साल के बाद ये सवाल 2.5 साल पर पहले हमेशा से उठे हैं, तो ये तो कहा जा रहा है कि आप पिछले 1-1.5 साल से ही इस पर प्लानिंग कर रहे थे, सिर्फ इंतज़ार था आपको MLC इलेक्शंस का।
ऐसी बात नहीं है। हम लोगों ने पूरी कोशिश की, जो विधायक हैं 50 उन्होंने भी कोशिश की, क्योंकि उनका अस्तित्व खतरे में पड़ चुका था। जो हमारे अलायंस पार्टनर है उनकी तरफ से उनके चुनाव क्षेत्र में बहुत ही अन्याय हो रहा था, उसकी सुनवाई हो, उसमें करेक्शन हो, ऐसी कोशिश उन्होंने भी की, मैंने भी की, लेकिन उसमें हम सफल नहीं हो पाए, इसलिए कदम उठाना पड़ा। ये आज की बात नहीं है। ये अगर चुनाव क्षेत्र में विधायक जो है उसके चुनाव क्षेत्र में विकास के काम हो, जो लोग विकास चाहते हैं उनको न्याय मिले, यही कोशिश विधायक की होती है। लेकिन उसमें अगर वो असफल होता है तो उसका अस्तित्व ही खतरे में पड़ जाता है। और ये 50 विधायक ऐसी स्टेप, ऐसी भूमिका क्यों लेते हैं, इसका कारण ढूंढना चाहिए, आत्म परीक्षण करने की आवश्यकता है।